Here in France, the carved bust that adorned Jim Morrison's grave has been located, French police say. It was missing for nearly 40 years. So this discovery has many fans of the Doors elated that the stolen sculpture has been found. To get all the details on this story, let's bring in France 24's Solange Mougin. Solange, first of all, how did the police find the bust?
Well, according to Paris's anti-fraud department, it was a chance discovery. That's what they're calling it. On Monday, they announced on social media that they'd been doing a search in regard to a different case, a fraud investigation, and that they came across the white marble bust of Jim Morrison, which had been missing from his grave for 37 years. And since there has been this mystery for so long of what happened to the stolen statue, well, the French police did a bit of a tease on Instagram saying, guess what we found? And then in the following slide, they unveiled the graffitied sculpture, which now, of course, has police tags and tape on it. But beyond those strings that you see there and the red seals, the bust looks like it did in 1988. Its nose and part of its mouth are still chipped off. It's actually thought that those breaks were done at the time by souvenir hunters. And as we're about to hear, it's thought that it was actually a die-hard Doors fan that took it, but we don't exactly know who stole the statue all those years ago on May 9th, 1988.
It was a mega fan of the Doors who came to Père Lachaise one night, broke off the bust, and then attached it to a moped scooter and sped through the cemetery at the crazy speed of 70 kilometers per hour. It was completely out of this world.
It's crazy. All right, now the sculpture has been found, but there just still remains some mystery about it.
Yeah, police have yet to tell us where it has been all these years, or if they're digging further into its disappearance now that it's been found. They did tell the French paper Libération that the bust was found along with a Warhol painting and some Rolexes in this fraud case. The head of Père Lachaise cemetery, where Morrison is buried, he told the French paper Le Figaro that he has not been contacted by police over whether the marble statue will be given back to the cemetery, but he did say that Jim Morrison's family they wanted it there. He said that Jim Morrison's grave is, for Père Lachaise, akin to the Mona Lisa for the Louvre. And when you visit the cemetery in the 20th, you really do feel the continued Morrison mania. There are markings and etchings that read Jim this way with an arrow on other tombs and signs. There are flowers and lighters and wine and many tourists and Doors fans mulling about. Sometimes you even see people crying over Jim Morrison's grave over half a century later. The rock icon died in Paris in 1971. There was never an autopsy, and there are continued rumors about his death. Early accounts say that he died in a bathtub of cardiac arrest. Others say that it was a heroin overdose in a club. There's even a fake theory about the age that he died. He died at age 27. There's no debate about that. But a number of other musicians, including Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, they died at 27 too. And they are called today the 27 Club. Now, I called this a false theory because it is untrue that there is more of a chance to die at 27 when you are a rock star. A study by the British Medical Journal, they found that there is no scientific basis in this phenomenon or coincidence. But it did find that, quote, fame may increase the risk of death among musicians, but that this risk is not limited to the age of 27.
In any case, this marble bust was not actually part of the original tombstone for Jim Morrison when he was buried.
No, it wasn't. It was designed by the Croatian artist Mladen Mikulen. It was added for the 10th anniversary of Morrison's death in 1981. He died in 1971. And the Morrison estate has now said that they are very happy of its return. Again, his family wanted it to be there. Now, we'll see if it's reattached. It is possible that, this is a hypothesis, but it is possible that Père Lachaise will choose not to do that to try and keep crowds and graffiti down. Already there is added security for his grave, but also for other graves like Edith Piaf, Chopin, Sarah Bernhardt, Allan Kardec, the founder of Spiritism, who actually has a huge following from Latin America. People bring flowers to his grave. Others used to kiss Oscar Wilde's grave in Père Lachaise, but the kisses were actually hurting the stone, so that ceased. There is a very long list of famous tombs at Père Lachaise, which is actually ironic because initially initially, Parisians, well, they snubbed the cemetery for being too far outside of the city's limits. No one wanted to be buried there in the early 1800s. And so to draw people, administrators, well, they created a marketing campaign, and they moved the tombs of Molière and Jean de La Fontaine, and then the star-crossed lovers Abelard and Eloise, which paved the way for Père Lachaise to be the place to be buried, with now Jim Morrison's grave, bust or no bust, being one of the main draws of what is now the world's most visited cemetery.
And it might seem strange, but it really is one of the coolest things to check out in Paris. Solange, thank you so much for that. And now perhaps we can see Jim Morrison's bust back in its original place. Solange Moujon, thank you so much for that. All right, we're going to